4, 3, 2, 1.
On the edge of the box is Madden. Madden trying to manufacture the shot, gets it away, it's there! Oh my word! What a goal from Paddy Madden! The Irishman strikes again! And is that the goal that's going to send Stockport County back into the Football League?
Hello and welcome to the Courtyard Club call on Monday. Oh no, it's not that one. No, it's not that one. It's the I've waited all week for that show from the Garth Bagara War or the County podcast. Evening, everybody. You will notice that there is no Nick this week or now or this show. He can't make it tonight. I hope everything's okay with him. And Isaiah Kite's not going to be here tonight either. Although he might make an appearance. We never know. Depends what buttons I'm pressing, doesn't it? So tonight we're going to talk about MK Dons for a bit. The match on Saturday.
By the way, I'm here. I'm Waggy. Hello.
Oh yeah, well, I was going to introduce you in a second. God.
Oh right, okay,
No, but do you know what? I've told her that I wasn't going to introduce you because I just thought, well, you're just here now, aren't you? You're just part of the furniture. Yeah, I'm delighted to be joined by Waggy.
Thank you.
Who's become a regular now. So yeah, and then about 1:15-ish, I think we're going to be joined by Tim from Fearless in Devotion, the Wrexham podcast. They were the ones that got overlooked for the Welcome to Wrexham documentary.
Yeah. Are you going to mention that then?
Yeah, we'll have a chat about that. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Did he get overlooked? Yeah. Absolutely. So we'll chat to him all about the game on Saturday. The
biggest game in football history ever. Apparently.
Yeah, the one ever. Yeah.
But there's no rivalry.
Well, we'll talk about all that. Is it a rivalry?
Yeah.
Is it the biggest game ever? I mean, when I posted that from the Twitter account, that was in jest. That was from what Ryan had said, left bollocks.
Yeah.
Some people bit that as well. Some people bit that. So please get involved. Start commenting. Get involved and have your say, and we'll read out all the best ones. We've got some admin to do before we kick off. Tell everybody the Chelwood Food Bank. So we mentioned this last week. The Chelwood Food Bank are going to be at Edgeley Park on Saturday, taking collections for the food bank. So really important. If you've got anything spare, if you can spare anything, please do take it along on Saturday. You can donate it at the grassy knoll next to the Cheadle End turnstiles between 1 p.m. and 2:50 p.m. Which I think is where the co-op usually stand, is it? Is that where they usually stand and sell calendars and things?
Yeah, I think they stand to the left of the grassy knoll, sort of more next to the furthest turnstiles for the Cheadle End, don't they? That's where they normally stand in that little bit there.
Yeah. So that's where they'll be. So Chelwood Food Bank, they support Adswood, Edgeley and Brinnington. And they have food banks along with the Olive Branch drop-in on Castle Street as well. So they donate items if you can, please. And I'm going to read this out as well. See if I can get this right without doing it, without messing up. So they particularly need full-fat UHT milk, jam, tea bags, coffee, pasta, curry sauce, rice, spaghetti, biscuits, crisps, chickpeas, dried lentils, sugar, tin fruit and cordial, cleaning and toiletries, bleach, tin foil, washing powder, mouthwash, and hair conditioner. You got any air conditioner in your house, Waggy, for you?
I've got loads of it. I don't use it.
You know, every Christmas you get all the hair conditioner.
Yeah. Just gets put on the side. I'm building a castle out of it all.
A fort.
Yeah. Either that or it'll be out of date.
Yeah. What happens to out of date hair conditioner? Does it go out of date?
I don't know.
No, I don't know either. I don't use it. So yeah, that's the Chelwood Food Bank Plus, and I'll mention that again at the end as well, just for people that maybe have missed the start. Okay, then what's happened this week at County?
we went to a franchise and we beat the franchise in a excellent empty stadium.
Yes, we did. It was a good stadium, though, wasn't it? To be fair,
It was good, yeah. I'd say it was impressive. It didn't look like your normal sort of pre-packed stadium from the outside. Thought it looked pretty decent. All the seats were padded. That was nice. Yeah, I thought the actual stadium itself and everything was could be easily championship, maybe a push. Probably say Premier League.
yeah,
It's probably better than some of the stadiums in the Premier League, but it's just yeah. Claire says there it's too big for them. I don't think that I could ever see them filling it unless they give 15,000 to away fans if they did get up to like championship or whatever. But yeah, it was good, but it was just they were again. There was no atmosphere whatsoever from them. Even they scored, cheered, sat down, and that was it. There was nothing at all from them. And the announcer didn't announce our goals. They only announced their goals, which I just see that's just part and parcel of every stadium that I can think of that I've been in. Even away games is that you announce all the goals, home or away. So that was just a bit weird. And and then he announced at the beginning that all the players had been called to the tunnel by the referee. Why did we need to know that? I've never heard that before.
I know. What is that not just modern day building up the game? I get the feeling that if it was a nighttime game, they'd have flashing lights and things, which I mean, you can go for that if you want, but it's not my bag. But do you know what I mean? Like Wolves do. Wolves do that at the start, don't they? Wolves have
City do it as well, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
But no, I don't know. It just seemed maybe if you're trying to build up the atmosphere and stuff, but that's all he said. And then it was like a 5-minute break of him not saying anything. And then it was like, and here come the teams, MK Dons, your team coming out. Brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a bit weird.
It was a bit weird.
Some of the comments coming through, Claire Jeffs. Oh, no, we've already done that one. It was there we go. This one. Just went to tick a ground off my list. That's why I went. That was the only reason I went, is to tick it off. And I'm onto ground number 72 now, which I'm quite
yeah,
pleased
you
with.
said that. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Are they all the 72 clubs that you've been to? Then are they all still league clubs, or are they?
No, it's a massive mixture. I mean, Spurs and Southampton are on there. White Hart Lane and the Dell, they're demolished.
Right. Okay.
Gates on there, demolished. So,
right.
It's just a mixture. There's what they called Orlando's old ground that's now demolished is on there, because I went to watch an Orlando game when I was in the US.
Right.
So just a mixture. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, cheers. You sound really, really impressed by that.
Well, we had a discussion about it, didn't we? You say that it's now you don't have to pay for the same app, so I'm just like, well, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm not paying for it.
No, don't blame you.
I'm interested, but I'm not that interested.
Yeah. If only there was a free app that did that. The setup of that stadium was fantastic. Inviting us into the family day was a nice touch too. The hotel rooms overlooking the pitch were a nice touch. That's Tom Katanak. Cheers, mate. New subscriber to Patreon is Tom Katanak. Cheers for that as well, mate. I really appreciate it. Yeah, those hotel. You know a bit about these hotel rooms, don't you, Waggy? Or do you?
But they would. Yeah, it was on the left-hand side of where we were sat. There was no actual. You couldn't physically get out, but you could see there was a corridor, a glass corridor all the way around, and you could see the rooms behind it. And you can actually, I believe you can stay there even on match days. So you could probably, just stand outside and watch it for free. But, well, for free. It's a DoubleTree Hilton in it. So it's going to be about 150 quid a night. I'll go down, pay 150 quid so I can watch the match for free.
Yeah. There's probably people who have rooms in there who are gutted that there's a match on, thinking, I've booked a nice hotel room here and they've got the bloody noise. Well, there was no noise, was there? I quite like the idea though of, if we ever play them again, which we probably will do, that go down and get a hotel room for a couple of nights and then watch it from the side. That'd be pretty cool. That,
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
yeah, it would be, yeah. Because again, I suppose it'd be like, in a way, it'd be like the old county before we got to Cheadland with the old pop side, because it does run the full length of the pitch. So depending which way we're shooting, we can go and stand at that end of the wind, just look out the window at it.
Really? What, even like going to other people's rooms?
No, because there's a corridor.
Oh.
So there's the
Oh,
rooms,
is there a big
corridor,
thing at the
and then
front?
there's
Right,
there's
I missed
glass. Yeah. No,
Oh,
you're not
right.
directly into the rooms. So
Right, I thought he was like walking to the end room and knocking on and going, "Can I come and
yeah,
watch the
knock on.
match?"
Excuse me. Can I watch the match from here? I brought some cans.
I'm getting some prices round. Oh, look at this: £80 a night Friday night, or £64 if you booked on the day with the fixtures were announced. That's not bad, really, is it?
No, that's not bad at
It's
all.
not
That
bad at all. Yeah.
obviously not a very busy hotel like the stadium.
Yeah. yeah. Good point. And we obviously, two really good goals on Saturday. We won't talk about them. They're on the Courtyard Club call. We spoke about them in depth. What I did do today, though, I weirdly enough got contacted by a Euro News podcast to talk about Louis Barry and his loan spell with us and things like that. So I've retweeted it from our podcast account. Give that a listen. I'm on there for, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, bigging up Barry. But one thing I did say was that move for that second goal. Sorry, the first goal. The move for the first goal was absolutely top notch, wasn't it? The way, I don't know if you've noticed it and watched it back, but he sort of followed the defenders out a bit, wait till they weren't looking, and the time was right for Torre, and then just spun in, didn't he?
Yeah.
I just thought that was top notch. But yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
I thought he had one of his quieter games that he's had in a county shirt. But as you say, that's the sign of a good player, is that he can be a bit anonymous and then turn up with the goods.
Yes. So let's hope he's turning up with the goods on Saturday. Speaking of which, our guest is backstage. Shall we get him out?
Go on then.
So, opposition in review. Welcome, Tim from Fearless in Devotion. Hey, mate, you okay?
Yeah, you?
Yeah, not bad.
Evening,
not bad.
Tim.
Feels like
Good.
we're not seeing you for ages.
I know. It feels like we went on a nice sort of, when you have like a break in a long relationship to rekindle it, and then you reappear and go, you know what? I didn't quite appreciate you at the time, but I do now. So that vibe. No.
I think I remember coming on the Fearless in Devotion podcast after we got promoted. I think Andy Cannon had signed for you, so you asked me to come on and talk about him. And we spoke a bit about it, and I said I said we'll gladly have you back, like a scorned lover.
Yeah, it's about right. It's about
here
right.
we are.
I know, yeah. Andy Cannon, Lion Hunter.
Yeah,
I'm sure you know that story if you haven't already, but yeah, it's all a bit
No.
mad. But basically, Ben Foster stitched him up. I can't fully remember how the story goes, but Cannon just revealed during, I think it was post-training meal, that he was driving along. I don't know if he's going home after training or he's going somewhere, and he saw what he basically said. He basically saw a lion being conveyed from one place to the other, presumably some sort of zoo thing, or circus. I'm guessing some hooky circus. So ever since then, he got absolutely pelters for it, and some of the Wrexham fans have done like Andy Cannon, Lion Hunter flags and all this sort of jazz. So it's a bit mad, but he's gone off the boil for a while, unfortunately. So yeah, weird one.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about the players and the turnover, because I've lost touch really with your lot. But the first thing I wanted to cover was this thing about rivalry. Should we just talk about it now and put it to bed?
Yeah, if this can be the bastion for everybody to go to, that basically ends the conversation. I mean, my argument is I think it's only developed into some sort of thing by virtue of it being, the bride and bridesmaid thing from the season gone by when you won it, and we kind of dared to even think about taking it away from you, and it didn't happen. It's the same thing what happened in Notts County last year. It's not like a rivalry in the true sense of, oh yeah, we hate each other. I think it's a healthy kind of. I think I watched the recent episodes of the documentary, and I think a few people mentioned adversaries, which is basically what it is. It's like it's two, very well backed clubs with good history, strong fan bases that have been in the doldrums for too long. And I think if you look at it above everything, then I was more than happy to see Stockport back in that division. I wasn't too happy that we kept getting pipped to the post and all that, But when you went down to National League North, I was like, shit, mate, if it can happen to them, it can happen to anybody, So I don't think I wouldn't say there's any mental kind of rivalry. I mean, for us, it's always going to be Chester, Shrewsbury, Tranmere, Newport to a degree. But I think that the thing with Stockport is that it's handy because it's less than an hour in a manageable way, I think.
Yeah.
I said it's a competitive rivalry more than, as you say, a traditional hate each other rivalry. I think it's still friendly. I think, take away the media circus that surrounds you at the minute, we're very similar clubs, and I think we're both going in the same direction, and I think we'll both be there or thereabouts with each other pretty much for the next few seasons, certainly. So I think competitively, I think it's a rivalry, but as you say, not the likes of you and Chester. They're never going to be that. I think it is a bit there's banter, and some fans take it a bit too seriously and stuff like that. But every fan base has got its pelters.
There's little subplots which have kind of made it more than what it is. So whether it's the Mullin scoring and racing over to you guys and giving it a big one, to Challoner saying "fuck you, Wrexham" during the celebrations, those little subplots which kind of stack up, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing. What makes football is it'd be boring if it was anything other than that, and that's why a lot of people are looking forward to Saturday, because it's like, oh shit, we've got these little things where we've done over Grimsby and had a little bit of retribution. Is there an element of retribution to this? Yes and no, because you could argue, yes, it'd be nice to get one over for pipping us to the title, but then, we showed that we were probably good enough to go up with the wins we had. Rivalry. Who are your main rivals? Because I've got an idea in my head who I think it would be, but we all
historically it was Burnley and Stoke, but that was just because we played them a lot in the 90s.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
I got beat by them a lot in the 90s at Wembley.
I wouldn't even say that's historical. That was just a flash in the pan time. It was just a time when we used to play them a lot. We don't have a historical rival like you do with Chester and the like. I'm quite jealous of clubs that have that kind of rival with other clubs. We can't say United and City because they're just stratospheric. They always have been. I mean, we played City for a bit and beat them, but that was it.
I
suppose there is a bit with City, and I think that's just like, again, because they went down, we were up, and we beat them a few times when they were supposed to be the bigger club and all that type of stuff. So, and I think you tend to speak to City fans, and they still seem to have a little bit of a grudge against Stockport for whatever reason. It's like, come on, lads. Grow up.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? I mean, I was going to ask you then, but you pretty much just answer the question for me. I was like, have there been any sort of disenfranchised Manchester City fans gravitated to Stockport because they're sick of yay? Like, I watched the highlights last night, and it was like you've just knocked in a third against Red Star in a Champions League match, and you're celebrating like somebody's just opened a new supermarket. It's just odd kind of. I can't even. And that's always the worry in the back of my head, that it gets gentrified to such a point. Yeah. That it's like polite golf clap at every goal, and hopefully it'll never get to that.
Yeah. I don't think it's exclusive to football in this country either, because I saw a bit of PSG last night against Dortmund when they scored their second, I think it was. Nice little goal from Hakimi, but it panned into the crowd. And I was like, I was gonna tweet, "Is everybody okay?" You know, because they were just literally just sat down or just not doing anything. So it must be at that level of football. That's what I like to keep at our level, where it was limbs. Do you know what I saw? County tweeted the 2-1 win from that season. We went up at Edgeley Park, and when you scored early on, didn't you? And Mullin scored early on, and there was limbs in that railway end, and I thought that's what you want, innit? There was just limb. No, there wasn't a phone in sight, and it was just arms going everywhere. That's what I like about it.
Yeah, I think the last kind of recent top flight limbs I saw was probably Spurs at the weekend when they scored that late goal.
Yeah.
And I mean, we can throw all the mud we like at the Premier League and say it's boring. They don't do this, they don't do that. But I think Spurs have probably designed that ground in such a fashion that it doesn't allow you to just sit there and go, "Oh yeah, good goal." But because of the nature of it and winning it in the 90th minute against, probably, hopefully, the worst ever Premier League team on record with a bit of luck. Happy days.
It's a good ground. I went watching the American football there last year or the year before. Can't remember which one it was, and that is out of this world. That stadium, it really is. But again, I think I like White Hart Lane. When I went to White Hart Lane, I thought that was acoustically was absolutely amazing.
Terrifying place though. Like not the ground, the area around it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rough as toast. Like bizarrely, I went there to watch Wales play Brazil in a friendly. As you do. It was so weird watching like Mark Pembridge come up against Ronaldinho. It's like, how often are you ever going to see that? So yeah, bit of an odd one. I'm glad I went though. I went to Goodison the other day just to tick it off. I've never been. Flat as a pancake, man. I was going
to say, you're definitely going to get a ticket there.
Honest to God, grim. So it reminds me of Wrexham in the sort of COVID season, if not before that. It was just, there's a bunch of old boys all around me. They're all bald. They're all about 20, probably. And they just look like they're about 50. It's like they've just been through the mill. It was grim. It was a hard
that's
walk.
the opposite to you, isn't it? You're bald, nearly 50, look about 20. That's weird.
I'll take that.
There's some comments coming through that I think we've had flashes of rivalries, like Macclesfield were at some point. Crew have always been there or thereabouts with us, haven't they? But they don't see us as their main rivals. I wouldn't have thought. You're probably more of a main rival than us.
It's all right. Yeah, I keep floating this idea to people. I don't know whether it's just my head, but I always had this thing of like a football natural order. If there was such a thing, where would you put your team? I'd probably, for us, it'd be like maybe a lower mid championship kind of thing. And for Crew, in my head, Crew's like the Unibond Premier Division, honestly. I sounds disparaging, but I don't mean it in that way. They're just one of those teams that are always, they're like a fly in the ointment. It's like, you're still there, and I'm not sure how you're still there. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, they've never like had massive numbers in terms of like, you never hear of what's their fans? Is it 4,000 average or less? I don't know.
Yeah, four or five, I think so. It is.
Well, I'm not saying attendances dictate the scale of a club, but Crew's just one of those, like a weird halfway house that, the days of their golden era are long gone by. You can probably reel off several players that you associate with them, but probably no more than that. Certainly nothing in recent years.
Well, I think the last one plays for us now, doesn't he? So, and before that, I mean, you probably rattle off, what is it, Savage, Seth Johnson,
Neil Lennon. Yeah, Neil Lennon.
Yeah. All the ones you used to sign on Football Manager when you were in the 90s. That's get them for cheap on Football Manager in the 90s.
Yeah. They had a good production line, and now they are, besmirched in scandal. That's never going to leave them.
Yeah, let's move on from that. I don't want to tarnish our lovely podcast with talk of that, especially if Nick's not here as well.
Nick could have been right on that.
Tonight. I was going to say, I thought if he's hiding, that'd be the bone to throw him right there. He just
just come on and say,
"Did you say Dario G?" He'd be all over
it. Good stuff. Before we get on to Saturday, actually, and talk about all that and all the trimmings that surround that. I read today your cop stand isn't being built as early as you thought it would. What's happened there? Because that's similar to us actually, and then we can talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a great surprise because we sort of six weeks into the season now, and there's no movement. There's no movement over the summer. It's like, well, something's not quite right. I haven't dug full deep into the details, but there's various things that haven't been done. And the biggest mistake they made straight away was saying, "Oh, we're going to have it done by next season." They were already stuck a time limit on it, and for whatever reason, various hills have cropped up with the university as well. Apparently, there's some sort of electric cable, something like that, that's kind of in the way that needs remedying. I can't remember the full ins and outs. The story is there. I kind of glanced at it earlier, kind of rolled my eyes and thought, well, tell us something we kind of don't know. There's been no movement.
Oh, his internet keeps on going.
Does it keep going?
Yeah.
Does it? Oh, yeah. Shit. Do you want me to reconnect on the phone?
Put another 50p in the middle in the meter.
Yeah, try reconnecting. We'll carry on the conversation. Try reconnecting with your phone, mate. That'd be good.
I'll be a sec.
All right. Yeah, because what that probably means for Wrexham is they keep the same. Obviously, clearly keep the same capacity. So the restrictions on the away fans remains in place, which is the same for us, isn't it? Let me just get rid of that banner. Oh, we've only got 2-1. There we go. So I've noticed.
What are they down to now? Are they, because that stand hasn't been used for a few years, is it? They still, exactly, are they the same as us, around 10k, or is it less?
I don't know. I mean, we'd have to speak to Tim about that. But
yeah,
whatever it is, I don't know. It just feels like you said it before. They're on the same sort of path as us. Their ground, the redevelopment of their cop end, which does look impressive based on the pictures, isn't going to get built.
Look good, yeah.
You know what I mean? Our pictures look good, and it just seems like, well, I wanted to get out of him if he thought it was in line with expectation. Let's get him back in. Hey, mate.
Hello, 1, 2, 3.
Yes, hello.
Yes, internet. All good. Sorry about that.
It's all right. Yeah, what I was saying is, so that clearly means that the capacity is limited for yet another season. And I wanted to get onto you as well about your loyalty scheme, or if you can call it that, and the allocations. But it's the thinking at the club to go in line with your progression, because that's what we've been told for hours, that we want to be cemented in League One before they start to think about the next phase of development.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, in terms of the COP thing, the COP thing's been obviously on the agenda for ages, and all of a sudden it's there. Next minute it's been levelled. Great, all that's gone. Now it's just this big cavernous end that's not being filled. So there's been a lot of chatter today about, do you get like a temporary stand in? But then with that, you've still got to think of, kiosks, toilets, all the stuff, security, stewarding, all the stuff that would come with it anyway. So it's infuriating because from a business point of view, there's lost revenue, because clearly demand is there. There's no doubt about it. So that's, if you've seen the documentary, the first episode last week, Rob McElhenney was livid that nothing had happened. So a penny for his thoughts tonight, in terms of the update. I don't think it'll set us back in terms of progression on the pitch, because they've invested in the squad. That's clear for most of us to see now, that this squad should be good enough to make a good fist of things this year. Nothing is guaranteed, as you saw last season.
Yeah. So
we're not counting our chickens and saying we're going to finish top or third or whatever. You just don't know it's going to pan out. But I would like to think there's some sort of plan B. What that is, I don't know. There's clearly.
I was just asking, what's your current capacity then?
Just over 10. So I think it comes in
10.
at about 10, 1, 10, 2, thereabouts. So yeah, pretty much 9,000 home fans, 1,000 for the away, and I think everybody bar Grimsby has sold their allocation so far.
Grimsby didn't sell out.
No.
That's surprising.
Yeah, I was, I'm kind of loath. I don't want to throw shade on people who don't sell allocations, because times are hard, money's tight, it's a long journey. but it's living proof that not everybody is like, well, a few of them might be kicking themselves because obviously Ryan Reynolds was there. So there is that weird thing that if you do go, oh no, he's directly opposite me, that's a bit weird. So yeah, surprised they didn't sell it out, but it's a fly in the ointment. I imagine they'll get over it. They'll get around it somehow, especially when you've got Sean Harvey doing his bidding in the background. So who knows what's going to happen? But I've kind of got used to it now. I just feel sorry for the people who haven't been able to see the team yet, especially the younger kids that their only experience so far is maybe the EFL trophy against Newcastle's kids. So
Right.
frustrating. But
So
yeah.
So I was gonna move on to ticketing actually before we get onto the game on Saturday, because we have had a question in, and it's an interesting one. So, opinion on the newer fans getting tickets in favour of long-term fans, especially internationals. Now I know you keep, is it 150 aside for international fans or something like that? How does all that work?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit. Is it 150? I think it might be less. It might be like 80 odd or something. But
Right.
basically, they've got international membership now. So there's different members. So my mum is a member, for example. She's not a season ticket holder, but she's a member. So
Right.
there's X amount of tickets that are ring fenced for people that aren't season ticket holders. So you kind of match day sales, almost like a new version of like walk up sales on the day. So they ring fence so many. I think, can't remember the figures off the top of my head. Maybe 500 to 1,000 kind of ring fenced for those who haven't got season tickets, so they can go out, try and get one ASAP. So look at the draw. Sometimes they're balloted as well. They're just in a ballot for the Salford City game at home. People try and put in for it, and then they get randomly selected if they're lucky. It's a similar thing with international membership. There's an international membership scheme. I don't know what the figures are in terms of that. I imagine it's a fair bit. But again, you just kind of try your luck into that international ballot. And people get lucky, some people don't. There's a girl that's coming over for the game on Saturday, and initially she got a ticket for the Stockport end because, as far as Stockport are concerned, she could be supporting anybody. It's an American coming to visit, could be going to Old Trafford. Oh, I'm going to pop see Stockport. But she's now managed to get a ticket for the home end, so somebody's thrown a ticket her way. Great. So they do become available, and that's through the goodwill of kind of local people as well. There's this whole idea of, you're taking one of our tickets.
Yeah.
If it's freely available, it's been given to somebody, it shouldn't really matter, So there is that international ballot, and it has been used quite well. And you're going to get a few people that have been unlucky a few times, but 9 times out of 10, if people are traveling stupid lengths to come over here, there is usually a way to get them in somehow, and 9 times out of 10 it does happen.
Yeah. So are you finding then it's all adults that are going to the games then? Because you just mentioned about kids not seeing the matches. Are you finding it's more towards the adult?
A little bit. I mean, it's hard to tell. I'm basically vouching it from where I am, but I mean, prime example is there's a girl in work. She's like, by her own admission, didn't know why there was beef for Grimsby on Saturday. Had to kind of be well versed in it because she hadn't really been before. Got a couple of kids. They all went together for the Newcastle game because there was tickets more available. It's still like 7,000 or whatever, which is ridiculous for that game. And it's a bit of a struggle to get 3 or 4 for her together for the Salford game, but she managed to get 2 tickets. So now she has to pick one of her favourite sons to go with her. So there's this. You do get a mix. There are still families that do go. But again, when you've got this entire, not just the media circus, but the buzz around not just the football club but the town, and the amount of kids wearing Wrexham shirts is just insane. Have they all been to watch them yet? Maybe not. I genuinely don't know. But there's obviously a lot of interest, and I imagine there's a lot of people that are still missed out, and that's only going to add fuel to the fire to get this cop built. And with that being pushed back again for probably the season after next now, it's just a hugely frustrating episode for anybody. But you'd told us a few years that we'd be moaning about trying to get a stand to fulfill the demand, I would have said, yeah, whatever. It must be crazy. So, yeah, we've got to be careful what we wish for. But yeah, it's not a bad place to be, really.
No. I mean, I always think that if I see a kid with a county shirt on, which I've seen loads more since our sort of rise back into the EFL, I just think it's one less City or United fan. And I suppose it's the same for you, and it one less Liverpool or United fan in Wrexham.
Yeah, and it is weird. Like, everybody talks about second teams and all that sort of stuff. It'd be very interesting to see if those younger generations have a second team now. If it is it flipped? Is it now Wrexham before Liverpool, etc., etc.? But honestly, it's like it was once, the rule, and now it's the exception that you would see a Man United or a Liverpool shirt. And if the owners were to walk away tomorrow, they've already cemented that legacy and that kind of enduring effect. And it's an easy comparison, but I always do compare it to Wales with Euro 2016 and the Bale effect, and having those players that, a nation, footballing nation the size of Wales should have no divine right to have, but did. And now we've got these players, which again, you would never think in a million years would be playing in a Wrexham shirt. So we're kind of like a bunch of grifters just going along with this and jumping on the back of it, and just seeing where it takes us. And honestly, after my Everton experience of the day, absolutely, we're so lucky. Honestly, we're so lucky the football we're seeing compared to, I know it's chalk and cheese, Premier League and League Two, but it's a hard watch. It's a hard watch. They're definitely going down, 100%.
Yeah. I suppose if you're not invested in it either, it's harder to watch. We went to MK Dons on Saturday, and that was just a soulless experience. Really nice ground. Don't get me wrong, nice ground, and things, all for purpose built, luxurious ground. But it was just soulless,
Dead.
and they know it as well.
And it was always going to be that way, and it's the most gothic ground in the UK probably, but as it's still got that black kind of mirrored vibe on the outside. It's all a bit polished and stuff. Yeah, I mean, MK Dons, it's just a weird place. Full stop. It's just kind of a purpose-built town full of roundabouts. But you've got to say it's better than their old ground, which was horrendous. It was dreadful. It made Wheelstone look like the bloody new camp. So,
well, this is it. You're probably the same. We went to Colwyn Bay away. That's the one I always go to. Colwyn Bay away, and now we're going to MK Dons. So I'm quite happy. Happy. Yeah.
All about progress.
Yeah, and just going back to something you said as well before about young fans being in the non-league for as long as you were and for as long as we were. Every season, I felt that you're in the non-league, you lose not a generation of fans, but you lose a year of fans, don't you? Of those ones that are coming through and want to watch a club. It's not as appealing, so you lose that. So getting them back now and starting to click on those ones that are coming through now, you can't put a price on that. Sticky fans. Steve Bellis called it something once, and I can't remember what it was, but he gave it a name. But yeah, it's that getting them in early, and supporting the local club.
You go back. You say about that with the a lot of people that are watching it now that are in late 20s, early 30s, and stuff like that. They all had the free tickets from school, didn't they? You just go out into the community and give out the free tickets and stuff like that. So you got people interested and got them hooked then. So I think a lot of that sort of age range, or quite a few of that age range, are people that have come through from free tickets.
Yeah. So along the way then, Tim, have you lost anybody from either the club that were there through the dark times, through non-league, and were either volunteering or working for the club long term? Have you lost anybody like that? That could because it's just grown and you're getting people in to do a job that's their job, and they're not, they fit the role a bit better.
Yeah, there was a lot of noses put out of joint initially in terms of them putting structures in place, improving the infrastructure behind the club, and you would suppose change is inevitable, but I think there was a lot of change in a short space of time where you would go to the shop and I'd see Dan and Matty. Everybody knew Dan and Matty there at the club shop, first name terms. Yeah, you'd message him and go, right, how many tickets are left, or have you got any shirts left? And you'd always get an answer. There's so many complaints about emailing a football club now and not getting a reply. Like, for example, spoke to the mayor of Wrexham the other week, just part of my job role. I bumped into him, speaking to him, and he offered, like, Fleur, the chief executive officer, supposedly at the club, do you want to get involved in some sort of mayoral stuff? Combine the feel good stuff of the club with mayoral duties, etc. Didn't hear nothing. It's just stupid stuff like that. But then Rich Watkin, good pal of mine, who runs the Fat Ball restaurant, he put a Paul Mullin mural on the side of the pub, and the powers that be at the club caught wind that he was going to put the Wrexham badge on the side of the mural, because obviously it was a picture of Paul Mullin. The badge is going to be on it. Yeah. So they sort of threw the toys out the pram, saying, "Well, you need to ask for permission before you use our badge. It's our copyright." So you've had all these emails from people complaining about various things, and you've ignored them. But as soon as somebody's adding to, like, this Wrexham FC trail in the town and helping boost the profile, you're straight on the blower. I mean,
wow.
They need to pick their battles, and I suppose the overarching theme to this is how much feel good factor of the community they're willing to push before it becomes you take the piss. A friend of mine ran a fanzine, had a slight left-wing, well, not slight, it was a very left-wing political stance to it. Sold it outside the ground. He got hauled in by the club saying, we don't want you selling it outside the ground, because of political bleeps and so on and so forth. He had every right to sell it there because he wasn't on private property, but it was on part of the footprint of the ground. So, but he tells me that basically said, "Yeah, to stop selling it, or we're going to rescind your season ticket."
What?
Yeah.
Jesus.
So, yeah. So we're like, they're going to come for us. We haven't said anything stupidly controversial. We'll try and hold the club to account. And luckily, fortunate for us, we've had the owners on, and they've even said, we're happy that you call it as you see it, and you're not going to just be all happy clapper and not go down the route of having any negativity, which is the club's mantra. They won't accept anything that's negative. Today's story about the Kop is negative, but it's written in such a way like, oh, it's unfortunate, that's the way it is, but we'll get there in the end. Yeah. But it's a shit story. It's a negative story. We're not getting any extra bums on seats. That's the bottom line. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, to labour the point, I suppose that there is that fear of pushing a community away, because that was part of their mission statement, was to keep that community orientation, that community focus. It's what's in the documentary.
I was going to say, season one was series one was all about that, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I said season then. Sorry, I'll whack myself over the head later for saying season one. It's series one, isn't it, for me?
Season two now, series on then, yeah. But so there's these little things that it's like, don't shit on your own doorstep, I guess. Yeah. Remember that these fans were there that started the club. These fans are the club.
Save the club.
And there'll be fans long after these guys have gone.
They've gone.
Yeah. And I know it's such an easy thing to trot out, but it's true. Fans are the lifeblood of the club. And if Man United fans had a backbone, for example, none of them would be going to Old Trafford. They wanted the Glazers out. Just don't go.
Yeah.
Don't go, hit them in the pocket. But you're always going to get those people, the tourists, that will go, well, I'm going to go instead. I'll go instead of you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, God, I'm getting fucking animated even thinking about what's happening here. That would piss me off. What do you mean, give me your season ticket up? Well, can I have it? And that, and like my mate who was mentioning then about the fanzine, he's a man of integrity, and he said, you know what, you've pushed me into a certain direction. I won't go anymore. He stopped going. Going. He lives like a mile away from the ground. He stopped going because he felt he was treated unfairly. Just the way it was handled. So I can kind of see his point of view. it's a tough situation. You know, he's just trying to add to the fandom and the fan culture, and to be kind of knocked down a peg or two is saddening, really.
Yeah.
Mm.
Fair play to him, though. All the power to him for that.
Yeah.
Sorry, one more question. I could talk to you all night, mate, about the footy, but one more question. I've seen the first 2 series of the documentary.
Have you? The entire the second series. There's only 3 episodes in the second series so far.
Oh no, has there not been 2 series already?
1 series, and now we're into the second.
Yeah. Sorry, I've
series.
seen the entire. I've seen the first series. Sorry,
there was a lot. I think it was 18 episodes in the first series.
Right, that's probably why I'm thinking it was 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because in stuff like Top Boy, there's only 8 or 9 episodes in a series, isn't there? You know, that's.
Is it any good? Everybody keeps saying I should watch it.
Oh, I think Top Boy's top notch. Yeah.
Some lad on Twitter has put it up there with The Wire and The Sopranos. It can't be that good.
Well, you're going to shoot me now because I've not seen The Sopranos, but I've seen The Wire.
Wow.
I know. Yeah, it's one thing.
I've not seen The Wire, so I just chucked it.
Oh, there you go. What about you, Waggy? What have you not seen? Top Boy.
I've not seen Top Boy or The Wire, and I've only seen probably 2 or 3 series of Sopranos.
All right, okay. Anyway, where were we? What were we talking about then? Yeah, Top Boy's good.
Series documentary.
Yeah, I've seen the first series. I noticed you were on it slightly. The first series,
Yeah.
I think you were. So I don't know, 1.5 seconds or something. But did Fearless in Devotion get overlooked as a podcast for the lad that actually got on there that I don't think does a podcast anymore, or what?
I wouldn't say overlooked. I mean, you kind of, I wouldn't say know your place, but we were asked, would you like to do some audio? And we're like, yeah, okay. So me and Andy went in, did some recording that made one of the episodes about the sort of hooligan episode. It was a bit on that, and I was in the Chesterfield one briefly. Me and Andy had a bit of audio in the first one last week. Andy's had a fair bit of audio, to be fair, and they're still asking us for stuff as it keeps on going, because I still think that they're editing the episodes in this season as we speak. They still haven't finished them up as yet. They haven't put it all in the can. I wouldn't say overlooked. I know you're on about Sean Winter. He's all right, Sean. He's got his own This Is Wrexham thing. You know, he's a bit of a character. And that's what they were after, really. They were after characters. Do I think they got it all right in that first episode? Probably not. And that, I'm not saying Sean's in any way, shape, or form for that at all. I mean, he's just showed he's a passionate fan. Could have picked one of hundreds, really. You know, we've got thousands of Wrexham shirts and all that, and there's certain parts he probably wasn't happy with, and certain parts he was. But we weren't overlooked. I don't think we were just, we were given bits to do, and it's the same with they get given fan cams at most of the games. Have this, I did some filming at Blythe in the FA Cup last year. I have no idea if it's going to make it. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not too fussed, and I mean, to be honest, we got a credit in the credits and in the title credits in last season, and having a bit of audio, and I'll take that. I'm in it for a nanosecond. I've had a bit of audio, and to be honest, it's not so much to massage our egos or boost our profile. It's just we had a little part in that. It's committed forever.
Yeah, it's there, and
it'll be on Dave Jarvu in about 12 years' time. Does that channel still exist?
I don't know. Do you know what though? I always thought it was. I never realised it was called Deja Vu till ages afterwards. Never realised, and then realised what it meant. Yeah. I'm just a street urchin from Stockport, mate. That's all I am. So onto the footy then. Finally, because I know you've got to go at 9, haven't you, for your own podcast?
Double check, I believe so, because I know Andy's catching a plane somewhere as well. So fuck knows.
Fair enough. So the footy on Saturday. Obviously, you're going to be confident, aren't you? You've since the opening day, you've done pretty well.
Yeah. We've sacked off our aging England goalkeeper. Well, he sacked himself off, really. Yeah, I'm not having any part of that. We dug him out a bit before he called time. Everybody was like, "It's your fault." I was like, "If you genuinely believe that 4 lads from Wrexham forced out an ex-international Premier League player, then you need your head testing." But it was the right call. He was letting in goals that he would normally save in years gone by. So yeah, we just built. I mean, that MK Dons thing was just weird because I knew we were undercooked because of the pre-season schedule. It's like you come back from America. Foster stayed out there for another 48 hours to fill something to do with his content. So it's like, well, he's coming like back home on Thursday, having one training session and going into that match. It's a recipe for disaster. It was dead exciting, and we just got thumped. Got a good kick in, and yeah. So that was a wake up call, but kind of batten down the hatches a little bit. Swindon game was mental, 5-5.
Yeah,
you know, probably lucky to escape Wimbledon with a point. But yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of injuries early doors. Managed to recruit smartly in that window, and it's just mad. I'm sat here, and we've got a current Republic of Ireland Centurion at left back, and we've got a former Scottish international sort of man mountain on the bench. It's just what is going on? Ridiculous.
Yeah. About Saturday, Cap Alid says, surely it would make more sense that Wrexham had the railway end stand without the roof on than the Together stand that has the roof, because it would help make fan chants louder. I don't think it's a case of that, mate. I think it's because you have to provide roofing for certain fans, disabled fans and OAPs. So
is it a certain percentage of the away tickets have to be covered? I think it's somewhat along them lines, isn't it?
Yeah, for those reasons that I've just said. Yeah. So I think that's the thinking, and obviously the other thinking is to give you the actual absolute minimum that we are contracted to give you. I think which is what everybody does, isn't it? In games like this, and
we have county fans on all 4 sides.
Yeah. So if you turn us round at the kickoff, which really fucking annoys me, it just shouldn't really make a difference. There you go. Any away captain that does the homework would always turn us round if they win the toss. So in terms of players, then, I mean, we've been watching League Two since it started, and that we know who to look out for. The one I'm going to just sort of draw attention to is Paul Mullin in for a start on Saturday.
Yeah, I was surprised he started last week, to be honest. Very surprised. I mean, he obviously made a bit of a cameo last sort of 15-20 against Doncaster. Played that game with a brace. Whether he's still wearing a brace, I'm not sure. But he played really well against Grimsby. Just rusty finishing. But the fact that he's just seamlessly getting back into those positions, after like several months out, you just don't lose that kind of instinct, really. So he will start. I'm pretty sure, barring any last minute mishaps in training, he will start. He's probably about 80%, 75-80% there or thereabouts. But we've got options now. That's the beauty of it. I mean, Palmer scored last week, hasn't scored many, but he's a different animal this time. He seems to be leaner. He's a bit more disciplined. He's not getting in the ref's ear. You can't these days now because the rule changes and everything else. So, yeah, he's kind of wound his neck in a bit, and we didn't struggle for goals without Mullin. That was the big plus point. That was the big takeaway from that. It's like everybody thought, oh, fuck, they're screwed without him. And then they saw us like still knocking in 3 against MK Dons despite losing, then 5-5, then and nipping a few, then 3-0 last week. So yeah, he'll definitely start. Elliot Lee is the man. 7 goals in 8 games. He's a booking away from a suspension, so I'm hoping he doesn't pick it up. But man's just ridiculous.
Can we not get him booked in training?
No.
He's
so good.
Yeah, get booked in training so he can't play against us.
It'll be good. There's a lot of matchups across that pitch, on Saturday. A lot of matchups. People will be out to say, right, fucking, I'm better than you, or whatever. It'll have spice to it. It'll have everything on it. That's the good thing about it. It's got everything. I'm sure Powell will be roundly booed. But like, I don't even think it'll be that. There'll be a little bit of booing just for a laugh, like, you bastard, you came, but then you didn't fancy it, then you went. But reading between the lines, Parky didn't really want him in terms of the character. He just thought he was too much for us.
I heard about this on the I forgot what it's called now. They mentioned us actually on their podcast. It was a Wrexham podcast.
The
Teach
American
Me Wrexham.
guy.
Teach Me Wrexham. Yeah, that was
Oh,
it.
yeah.
And it was a very, very enjoyable podcast by all accounts, actually. But he said your
I
comms
turned it
lad.
off after half an hour.
Did you?
Yeah,
I thought it
it
was
just
good.
bored the hell out of me.
Oh, you've got no staying power. You're like infinite content, everything now. But yeah, they said
He only watched 3 seasons of The Sopranos before he give up.
well, exactly.
All you need to know. Staying power. Wow.
Yeah, they said your comms lad said. See, I've lost what I'm going to say now, Waggy. Bloody hell. Your comms lad said, "Oh, that's it. That Parky has this. Takes him to the cafe or something, and has a chat with him or something like that. It's, as if like he does the Parky test, and Powell wasn't for them, wasn't for you, or something like that.
He's got basically like a no knobhead rule. I mean, Ollie Palmer slipped the net by his own admission. he is. I'll tell you a little story which we had to cut out of our recording with Rob and Ryan. Fucking Rob McElhenney inboxed me the day we were about to release it. He goes, "Can you cut this bit out before you put it out?" I was like, "Why?" Because if the press get hold of it, they'll roast us. And I was like, in my head, I was like, nah, surely. But then in hindsight, because of all the traction we got off that pod about Ryan potentially moving to the area, fucking hell, everything is like headline news, like it blows my mind, you know. So basically, he said that Rob and Ryan were going around the dressing room. They were asking various players, like, who's the biggest arsehole in the squad? Every one of them said Ollie Palmer, Ollie Palmer, Ollie Palmer. So Rob went up to Ollie and said, "Ollie, who's the biggest arsehole in the squad?" And he said, "Me, of course." So I was like, I can see why you've done that, because it'll end up being like, you know, Rob and Wrexham co-owners brand Wrexham's record signing an arsehole or something like that. So I can see why they were keen to cut it out. But it's just mad, mate. It's just different world. And I just living for the moment, because Blink will be signing scraps from the bottom of the barrel at some point in the future. You just never know where it's going to go. So.
Yeah. Fair dues. Right, last thing before I let you go, because I know you've got your own podcast to do. Score prediction for Saturday. Considering your defence is very leaky and we're crap at set pieces, defending set pieces.
I've heard you crap at defending set pieces.
Oh mate, it's horrific.
So we've got some serious height in our squad now, like ridiculous. Like I always did my head in when I'd see a Wrexham team bullied by a team of midgets. It's like, why have we got no height or power? And now it's like the Harlem Globetrotters. It's insane. I went for a 3-1, my initial thinking, and only because Desmond Hinks, one of your Stockport lads, got in touch for the other thing and was asking me questions, and I said, I can see why people would imagine it'll be a tight affair, and it probably will be. But when Wrexham have tried to keep it tight and been a little bit cagey, it's worked against them. Like, you know, they tried to be a bit cagey against Wimbledon, got away with a point, could have been worse. Bit cagey in pass against Swindon, managed to get away with a 5-all. When they're bold,
being cagey and it's a 5-all.
Yeah. But when they're bold and adventurous, which they've got the tools to be, they can fucking put teams to the sword. And I'm not saying that's going to be the case on Saturday, because it's a slightly different animal to what we had against Grimsby. But from what I'm just basing it on recent performances, we're just building slowly to a point where I think, fucking hell, we're looking really, really strong. And it's either going to be one of those, I think we'll either win quite well, or it'll be that route of it being a tense one, and it'll go in off Powell's arse cheek or something stupid like that, and we'll lose. Yeah. It's going to be one of those, you know. It's going to be or it'll be. I just hope it doesn't. It's not dictated by the officials. We all know it. We've all seen it. I don't know who the officials are for Saturday.
No, I've not
Yeah,
seen
be out
anything.
tomorrow, I think, won't it?
But you don't want games like that to be dictated by officials because you want to forget it's League Two. There's going to be a lot of talent on show on Saturday. A bit of a almost like the El Clasico, isn't it? Again, as it was mentioned previously, it was El Clasico it was mentioned as. But
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
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 but yeah, I'm confident. But I'm when you're old school Wrexham fan, you're still even now going, yeah, we could get walloped as well. You just don't know. But taking it at face value, we've got a really, really solid team of players that literally will put it all on the line for one another, which is what you want. Not just
Yeah.
not a team of mercenaries, but a team of players that get on off the pitch and have bloody barbecues in their houses and stuff. So that's a big buzz of it, I think.
yeah. Good stuff. Well, we shall see on Saturday. Good luck after Saturday, obviously.
Likewise.
Are you going? Have you got tickets, Tim? Are you
I
going?
have, yeah. I've been lucky. So far with getting tickets. They didn't do like an online queue for this one, so it's just to jump on and see what you can get. And to me, only had 900 tickets, so I'm lucky to get one. I've still got to pick it up from the ground, so I better go and get it tomorrow because they give it to somebody else by accident. So yeah, go and pick it up. Should be good. And just hope we do ourselves a bit more justice than what we did last time. Just croaked it big time. Like the defending last time was shit. I remember it. I can see it now, clear as day. Awful.
Yeah, for
bad
both
times.
goals. It wasn't. Yeah,
Not good.
yeah,
It'll be good. It'll be 0-0, won't it, after all this?
yeah. Yeah. Well,
Not a shot on target from either team.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I said Akil right to be sent off just because that lad was so placid. He was so placid when he was with us, and now he's like turned into this no nonsense beast of a. Is he centre half?
Yeah, he plays
he has
right
been
side
playing.
centre back. Yeah, and he sort of comes out with it as well. He's been pretty good. He's got a
He was
mistake in him
decent
though.
last season.
Yeah, he fills me with dread sometimes, but he's all right. Yeah,
It's mad. Like when he's with us, like he's got all the physicality, but didn't really know if he had the brain for a footballer as such. But done well.
yeah, yeah. Someone here says I'll take 0-0. Obviously, a county fan, because there's a line of thinking that I've seen on doing the rounds, which is, well, we've just won 2 away games that we probably didn't have down as wins. I know we had to sort of start clicking, and we have started clicking. I'm more confident now we've won those 2 going into this game than I was 2 weeks ago. But some people are saying, well, yeah, a point would be a good result because you've took 7 from the last 3, 7 points from the last 3, then, which is a good return. Yeah,
we're looking good. We're in decent form. Tranmere, we should have stuffed them. They're going down, hopefully. Awful team, rotten. So yeah, screw them. That's hilarious. And if when it'd be kind of almost lovely if Stockport, Notts County, and Wrexham went up, be great. That'd be great. On to the next level and just carry on renewing that fake rivalry that doesn't exist, but it's actually competitive rivalry. To go back to the start,
rivalry. Yes,
competitive rivalry. That's the flag.
Situational adversaries. Should we just call it that? Just drop the rivalry.
That sounds like
How can you say that dead easy, but can't say Courtyard Club Call?
That sounds like Nick's latest podcast. That situational rivalry podcast number 8.
Situational adversary. Situational adversaries.
Give him that; he'll make one out of it. I don't know how many podcasts he's got. It's ridiculous.
No, that's probably why he's not here tonight. He's off doing his 4th podcast or whatever he's doing.
He's probably like scrutinizing a line from a Morrissey song somewhere. I don't know. he's got some. This is the Arctic Monkeys one. He does. Yeah,
Arctic Monkeys. Yeah.
Arctic Monkeys. Yeah.
How many different dialects can Alex Turner speak in? That'll be the one. There we are.
Right, good stuff. Right, we're going to start to wrap it up now. We've got some in the reses to do, some admin. So, mate, cheers for coming on. And yeah, I was going to say if you need me to come on to yours, but you've already got another county fan coming on yours, haven't you? So
no, it's not a county fan. I got overruled. We got one of the lads from the documentary because it's like topical. So
right,
we've got somebody on from that. So yeah. There we are. Annoying, but we'll get you on for the return leg when things should be nicely placed. I don't even know when that is. If February, I want to say.
No, it's the last game of the season at your place.
Last game of the
Yeah,
season at
well-
your place.
Don't
Yeah.
do this to me, Tim. Don't.
No,
I
yeah,
don't
forgot
want.
about
I don't
that.
want a repeat of that.
When
How
you've
could I
got to give us
forget
a
about
guard of
that?
honour.
Oh yeah. What if both teams are promoted as second and third? What do we do
Well,
then?
Just
Just
be a
clap
big
one of
party.
them.
Celebrate.
Yeah.
You know, if
That was
that
the day out.
happened, yeah, if that happened, I would gladly join in your halftime singing that you do.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, and one thing stuck in me the other day when we beat Grimsby. Like, it's a couple of lads got chucked out. It's dead funny. When you said that you just had to take your medicine when we beat you the 3-0, you just had to sit there and go fucking hell. And like Grimsby had to do the same the other day, but a couple of them were furious. One lobbed a bottle at Mullin, missed. Great. It's just loads of good stuff going on. But yeah, what a time. But yeah, onwards to Saturday. It'll be a good game. Be safe. Please don't chuck anything our way, and that'd be grand.
No.
That
definitely.
includes you, Greater Manchester Police.
Say that again.
That includes the Greater Manchester Police as well.
Oh right,
No.
yeah.
This is a kettle-free zone, kettling-free zone, please. So yeah, should be good.
Good stuff. Right. Cheers, mate. Appreciate you coming on.
All the best. I'm gonna go.
Right.
I
Yep.
better go and do
See
my
you
odd
later, Tim.
pod. Take it easy.
Yeah. See you later. Cheers,
See you
mate.
later.
There we go. He's a good lad, Tim, isn't he? I liked him.
He's all right. Seemed a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. He seemed a bit down today, or I don't know.
No,
a
I
bit
don't think. I think he's
downbeaten.
just. I think he's just balanced. So if anybody's joined today's pod or is listening on the audio pod, wanting some sensationalism, with our, from our situational adversaries, then they're not going to get it on this podcast. So yeah, it's because we have good people, level-headed people on, don't we? I nearly said that 4 times then. Anyway, getting the reses. What did you have? Because you didn't do it last week, did you?
I didn't do it last week because I forgot. And then I had a bit of a brain fog. Getting the reses is the M62.
Oh, okay, yeah, because you go up and down. Do you go up and
The
down
M62,
the M62, or do you go across over it?
I
You
go
over it. Do you?
I go on it.
Yeah.
I park on it basically. So the reasoning behind it, it's a ship motorway. It's split into 2, so it should actually be 2 motorways. One end it finishes in Hull.
Oh yeah.
So
God, yeah.
just
You forget.
that's
it carries on, doesn't it?
Finishes in Hull, and the other end is Liverpool. I know I live in Liverpool, but still it ends in Liverpool. And then there's a bit in the middle that isn't actually part of it because that's the M60, and it is always busy. If you try and get on it coming out of Liverpool anytime after 6:15 in the morning, it's gridlock. And then you hit the same at Huddersfield, you hit the same at Leeds, you hit the same at the A1 junction, you hit the same at the M1 junction, and you hit the same when you get into City of Culture, Hull.
You see, Nick. If Nick was here now, because he doesn't drive, he wouldn't be able to join in this conversation, would he?
Well, that's the ideal time to get it in the reses.
Yeah, when it's not here. Yeah. Yeah. So for people listening and watching, everyone must know that you say that because you live in Liverpool. So for home games, you've got to come down the M62, haven't you?
Yes. So yeah, on a Saturday, I've got to get past the Trafford Centre.
Yeah.
So
Nightmare.
It's either Trafford Centre or I've got to come all the way around the other way and go down the M56 and stuff and go past the airport. So the M62, but that's obviously the M60 going past the Trafford Centre, but I've still got to try and get there. So
Yeah.
M62 in the fucking reses, it's a shit motorway.
Right, you can have that. You can have it. Let you have that one. Mine this week is, and some people have commented it already, it's the Blossoms pub.
Yes.
So there's a couple of things to this, isn't there? There's not only the original tweet.
Yep.
That we've got a Wales flag up. Ryan, was it Ryan Reynolds? Ryan
Reynolds, come and have a beer if you're here.
Yeah. And then the backtracking.
Yeah, the backlash. All the county fans just going, fuck off. You've lost business. You're going to be an empty
Yeah.
pub. We're never drinking there again. I mean, I don't know how many. Did he get a lot of people going in there before games? I don't know if
Don't know,
they did historically or not. Obviously, I
Yeah,
know
maybe.
that's where 2 or 3 of the Blossoms band started. That's why they're called the Blossoms.
Yeah.
They worked behind the bars and glass collecting and stuff there, didn't they? But
Oh, did they?
yeah,
That's right.
that's why they're called the Blossoms, because of that pub.
Right.
But yeah, then the backtracking saying, "Oh, nobody realised it was actually a joke because we've got a Wales flag up for the Rugby
For the
World
Rugby
Cup."
World Cup. Yeah, I know that's yeah. And the barmaid ate me homework as well.
Yeah, the barmaid fancies Ryan Reynolds, so that's why
Yeah.
she wanted him to come in.
I am not having any of that. So yeah, there's a few here. Ian Dowden, Blossom's Pub in the Reses. Blossom's
Yeah.
Pub it is then, the Phony Pond. Pretty sure Darren Bowden as well. Blossoms in the Reses. Yeah, we're all having that.
Yep.
Loving it. Cool. Let's think about wrapping up actually, because we're an hour and 10. Just to repeat that I said at the start of the show, don't forget Chelwood Food Bank Plus are going to be there on the grassy knoll before the match, collecting donations, food bank donations. Serves as would Edgeley and Brinny, along with the Olive Branch drop-in on Castle Street. It'll be there from 1 p.m. till 2:50. So take your stuff, drop it off, and then go and get a beer or whatever you're doing, whatever your pre-match ritual is. And just to repeat, they need full-fat UHT milk, jam, tea bags, coffee, pasta, curry sauce, rice, spaghetti, biscuits, crisps, chickpeas, dried lentils, sugar, tin fruit, and cordial, cleaning toiletries, bleach, tin foil, washing powder, mouthwash, and hair conditioner. And no, that's not my shopping list. Somebody said that before. That's the list from the Chelwood Food Bank that are after donations. I think it should be a bit of a regular thing, to be honest. If I'm saying that, I mean, I'm not going to do it, but say that he's easily saying stuff in it and then getting the volunteers and all that kind of stuff. But it'd be good if we had somewhere at county that we could just collect it throughout the week, perhaps, and then it gets collected. I don't know. I'm just spitballing. If that's did they say that? I think spitballing.
You say it, so
yeah, okay. Pushing out ideas. There we go. Right, Waggy. Cheers for coming on, mate. Cheers.
You've got prediction.
Oh, what for Saturday?
Yes, prediction for Saturday.
Okay. My original prediction was 7-4 to Wrexham, but I'm not going with that. Just 1 second. Cap Aled said, "Is there a collection near the away end?" It's just the home end, mate. And it's between the Cheadle stand and the Danny Bagara stand, so the main stand and the Cheadle stand. Spitballing in the reses. Yeah, sorry. Okay, I'll take that back. I meant just like having ideas and throwing stuff out. Spitballing American. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, actual prediction. I think I'm gonna go 3-1 to us, because I reckon it's tight, and their goal will probably come first, and it'll be a set piece. But the way we played against MK Dons away on Saturday, I'm pretty confident if we can do something like that, and maybe there's 1 or 2 players that have returned or such, then maybe we can do that. And Phony Pond agrees with me. Barry Powell, because Barry is mint. What about you?
4-2 to us.
4-2.
4-2 to us, and I think I'll go and say Barry hat-trick and Tanto for us.
Barry hat-trick. Wow.
Yeah.
Is that? Are you
I think 5 and 5. 5 and 5, and I think he's fast. I don't think their defense is very quick, so I think he'll get in behind and he'll get chances. So I think 4-2, Barry hat-trick.
Wow.
But obviously not that I'm falling in love with a lone player. It's just because he's playing well at the minute.
Yeah. Is Powell fit? Any updates on the Powell injury? Well, Charlie said it was a bit of a knock, didn't he? And
He said it was he was hoping it was just a knock.
yeah,
but
saw at half time.
wait until
Yeah.
wait until Friday and see what he says.
Yeah, so we'll get that probably news on Friday.
And yeah, Phony Pond saying actually is Madden back? Yeah, Madden's back. He was
on the
in the
bench.
squad on Saturday. Yeah, he didn't come on,
Yes,
but he was in the
yeah.
squad.
So yeah, if anything, it's looking positive. We've 1-2 on the bounce away from home, and we go into the situational adversaries derby.
Yeah, I think as well, listening to Tim, the way he's saying, they should have beat these, but they've only got draws, and by the sounds of it, they've only got. I know they like a late goal. I don't want it to be 2-1 to us or 2-2 going into like the 85th minute, because I've got the feeling that they'll put more pressure on us than the MK Dons did.
Yeah.
In the last game. So yeah, I think we've got a chance, and to say good atmosphere, 4 sides of the pitch with county fans, all of us cheering and stuff like that. I think create a good atmosphere, and 4-2.
Yeah, nice. Right. Well, we'll leave that there then. 4-2 it is. Cheers for coming on. Cheers to everybody for listening. Please do like and subscribe if you're watching back on YouTube, or if you're watching now. And if you're listening back to us on an audio player, please do like, rate and review. I don't think you can like on an audio player, but rate and review us and set your notifications and all those things. And we will see you. Well, we'll definitely be in the courtyard on Saturday.
We'll be in the courtyard. Yep.
For the match, and hopefully we're looking at 3 points. So cheers everybody, and see you next week. Ta-da.
Cheers. Thank you.
This episode of the Scarf Bagara War was written, recorded and produced by Russ Johnson and Nick Lee. The music on the opening titles was produced by Dan Johnson. Subscribe wherever you get your content, as well as finding out how to join the TSBW fan club. Check out the links in the description, or go to allthews scarfbagarawar.co.uk.